everybody, John Stallard here, CEO of Warlord Games. Very exciting news, as you know. We've got our Waterloo Epic coming out very shortly, and we're terribly excited about it. So excited that it's got you all excited, and our customers, as always, want to know what's coming next. Well, we can't tell you everything that's coming next, but I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. The first one we've had is why, oh why have you done the 95th Rifles in line instead of in skirmish order? Because we've done the French Voltigeurs in skirmish order as well. Well, first thing to do is fear not. I'll show you some pictures of 95th skirmishing. Those are going to come out within the first week or two of the game being released. So don't worry, we wouldn't have Sharp and his boys not skirmishing in the rifle pit next to La Haye-Sainte. The reason why we put them in line is because at Waterloo there were 3 regiments of 95th, well, 3 battalions of the 95th, 2 of which did nothing all day apart from being column and line and square. They never broke into skirmish. So it isn't all Sharp, all running about with 7-barreled muskets and super rifle fire. So most of the day, 2/3 of the rifles were in line. Other great questions our customer service team have been getting. Are you going to do more character models? You've got L'Enforceur, sorry, the French madman with the axe, and Sergeant Ewart of the Greys taking an eagle. Yeah, I think we could do some more nice characters from Waterloo. That would be great fun. Haven't decided on them yet. And people say, what about command figures? Are you going to have Nosy and Bonaparte? Well, it wouldn't be Wellington without them, don't you worry. I've just given some pictures, some still pictures to Robin of D'Erlon and Calaman, who was the French heavy cavalry commander. He'll pop those on this video to show that we will be doing the other generals as well. Obviously Picton and Uxbridge, it would be rude not to. And I think the Prince of Orange. And we're probably going to do them in metal, is my guess, but we wouldn't do those in plastic. But they look great. If you look at the detail on them, I think you'll find them simply amazing. And obviously, people say, well, what about the Prussians? How come you haven't done Prussians yet? Well, all in good time, friends. You've got to start with something. And the Prussians are being designed even as we speak, and there's going to be two different sprues from them, which will cover obviously the main musketeers and fusiliers, and also the landwehr on one sprue, and foot artillery. And then the other sprue will have all their 4 or 5 different sorts of line cavalry, lancers, uhlans, dragoons, hussars, you know the score, and horse artillery. So don't you worry, the Prussians are on their way. Another question we got is, okay, well, the Allied army was full of Dutch and Belgians and Germans and Nassau. How come it's all British? I said, well, again, you have to start somewhere, folks, and it's an archetypal battle we're doing. The good news is the vast majority of the Belgian troops that Wellington had under his command are wearing pretty much exactly the same uniform as the British, just in a darkish blue. So all of the British infantry units that we've got can be painted very cheerfully and easily as Belgians. The only difference will be, I would suggest at this scale, is you can not carry the standards if you don't want to. The Belgians didn't seem to have colours at Waterloo, but it's a wargaming convention to give them colours. So you could just simply snip off the colours and just have them as muskets if you wish. And finally, the British sergeant with this spontoon, you can just take the end off that and have it as a musket. So the Belgians are easily covered by just painting the British blue. Similarly, Dutch troops can be represented by just using French troops. Their uniform was so similar, they'd been fighting on the French side for the year or two before. So their Belle Shaco looks so much like the French Shaco in epic scale that you really can't tell the difference. Similarly for Nassau troops, I'd paint them their green uniforms, use French troops and paint those up as Nassau. King's German Legion is almost all of it British troops anyway, including their cavalry. Are we going to be doing Scottish infantry? Well, I think if I get it right, there were 3 kilted regiments at Waterloo, plus the First Foot, which are Scottish as well. So it wouldn't be Waterloo without the Scottish, and so we're going to do those in plastic as well. And on that sprue you'll get some beautiful looking Highlanders, and that'll be the sprue which will also have the skirmishing 95th rifle. So if you pick one of those box sets up, you'll have all the skirmishing 95th you want, plus 3 regiments of kilted jockiness. A couple of people have asked on the mix of heavy cavalry on the sprues, why have you put so many carabiniers on when there were only 2 regiments? We know there are only 2 regiments at Waterloo. It's a fine art trying to decide what goes on the sprues. It's a balancing act, folks. If you think you've got too many carabiniers, just double up the number of the models in your regiments. It'll look even more splendid. Or if you take the French carabiniers and repaint them as Dutch carabiniers, they look fantastic. It's a lot of mix and matching here we're going on. The models are cheap, the models look fantastic. So for instance, you could paint British Hussars as the Duke of Cumberland's Hanoverian Hussars, or you could take the British Light Dragoons and paint them up as Dutch or Belgian Light Dragoons. It really is as simple as that. You can get pretty much every force that was at Waterloo from the basic box sets, I assure you. Some of you quite rightly have been saying, what about the stovepipe type Shacos that 1 or 2 of the British units had at Waterloo? Are you going to do those? Well, we might do those in plastic, or do a whole sprue for the Peninsular War. That would be quite fun. In the meantime, those ranked up 95th rifles that we spoke about earlier on, they're in the Stovepipe Shacos, and those will do painted red. They look fantastic as Hanoverians or the occasional British Light Infantry units that were still wearing the old-fashioned Stovepipe Shaco. So believe me, in Epic, the scale, it works really well, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. Further on down the line, I say, after we bring out those other general models, we'll also do caissons and limbers. And no doubt the British will have a bombarding frame for their rockets, and any bits and bobs as well we will do. Breaking news, I don't know if I'll be able to show you this. We've obviously got an Imperial Guard sprue as well, which will have the Old Guard and the Middle Guard, plus their foot artillery. And we've also managed to slide on a tiny company of Marines of the Guard, the Sailors of the Guard, and the Engineers of the Guard, and that's terribly exciting. So people will like that. Will we do other units finally in resin or metal? Yes, we might have to do that for some of the French Guard cavalry regiments, because there are 5 regiments there with very different looking uniforms. So we might have to revisit that in metal, but that's fine. We can manage that. They're going to look great. And finally, people say, why have we started with Waterloo? Why haven't we done Austria or Russia? Well, there's commercial reasons. We're a British company. We wish to start with Waterloo. Like it or not, it finished the Napoleonic War, so we think it's a classic battle to fight. If and when it's successful, fear not. We'd love to do a Borodino set or an Austerlitz set, and build up those huge units of Austrians and Russians and everybody else who's fighting the Napoleonic Wars. So it really is up to all of you out there. If you like it and demand it, it will come. A couple of you asked why are the command stands slightly off centre. Well, this time they have to be for production reasons. I can't quite explain it to you today on this video, but in the American Civil War game, we had 5 stands, so the middle stand was always the command stand. In this one, we're using four stands, and it is slightly off centre, but nothing terrible to offend the eye, I don't think. And finally, people have been asking what's next, and you're quite right to ask. Can't tell you that yet, I'm afraid, because trade secrets and all that. But if this goes well, and the pre-sales are going remarkably well, it could be anything. We could branch off into many other periods, and it's been refreshing to play huge battles on epic scale tabletop. So yeah, let's look to the future, and lots more questions. I know it will beget more questions, but I hope this will answer some of them. Anyway, thanks for all the questions to our guys, and happy painting. Bye.
French and British starter sets are available to pre-order now at www.warlordgames.com. Feel free to comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you.